What is up, you guys? We are in Los Angeles, California right now at the Ghost Circus headquarters, hanging out with the one and only Eli James.
What's up?
Here we go. I think the coolest thing, man, is that how you've designed for some of the rock stars that we grew up knowing and loving, and some of these guys that wear your stuff now. It's like Josh Dunn, 21 Pilots, Black Veil Brides, CC wears your stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Sum 41, Frank Zumo, you guys are good buddies.
And like since the beginning. He was actually, to be straightforward, he was one of the only ones that was like, dude, I see your vision. This is dope.
Bro,
yeah, what's up?
So nice to finally get to hang out, man, and talk to you. Like, we've known each other for over probably like 10 years, right? Over 10 years. We got interconnections. Your brother and I have done some television stuff together. You've dressed me, put me in some of your amazing clothes over the years. You've changed so much about my life, my style, and the way that I am as an artist. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I want to kind of take it back to the beginning. Where are you from? When you started out playing drums, talk about all of that.
Yeah,
You're originally from Seattle, right?
Originally from my mom and dad.
Yeah,
I was born. Actually, I was born in the University of Washington, and so I was there, Seattle native. Grew up in a really tough situation. Mom and dad didn't quite, make it together. Right. So there's a separation. It's insane to go down that story, but originally from there. My dad was a rock star in the '80s in a metal band called Rottweiler, and that's where I really got intrigued in music. And we would go there like when we were like 3 years old, 4 years old, and I would sleep in the rehearsals, which is kind of crazy. But I remember one time he's like I saw a bass player and like, you want to do that? Because, that's what your dad does. And I was like, looked at the drummer. I was like, no,
I want to do that.
I want to do that.
You like saw him like,
dude. Yeah, I got my first drum set when I was 13 years old or something like that. A family friend traded a car to get the drum set. It was like a Ludwig 1966.
Oh, wait, that's so dope, dude.
But as a kid, I was like, it was all blue sparkly. I was like, I'm not that. I'm going to rip it all apart and then spray paint it black. Yeah, which you're not necessarily supposed to do that to something so amazing.
Yeah, but you started customizing stuff early on.
Oh, yeah, early.
That's pretty rad. Yeah. So you've drummed with some of the biggest bands like in the world. Do you have like what's one of the coolest experiences you had while on tour while drumming?
I mean, there's so many cool experiences.
What's one that's like a really good one?
I can tell you one. It's actually really funny. It's a good story. I was drumming for a band called Julian K. And we went to South America, Bogota, Colombia. And we went to Medellin. Anyway, on our way there, we landed and Amir's guitar was vanished, gone. Where's it at? No one knew where it's at. So we got to the hotel, we're still waiting. No one knows where it's at. Now, just to let you know, this guitar is very specific. We cannot play. No matter what, here's another guitar. It's not like that. It's a custom guitar for him, and it hits notes that you have to have for the music. Anyway, and so I'm freaking out, but Amir's really freaking out, and we're just like, okay, whatever. Let's wait. Let's see what happens. The whole night goes through. Still no word. We go to breakfast. We have breakfast with the whole band. It was like 45 minutes of eating. We're all like, okay, well, shit. Where's this guitar? And we can't play if we don't have it. At the end of breakfast, our singer was like, oh yeah, super side note, your guitar's right here, dude. And then he just walked off and we're like, wait, super side note? This is not super side note.
This is a huge deal.
Note. If we don't have it, and he knew the whole time, but we're still sweating.
Dude, that's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, those are like fun bro moments. And so even to this day, that was like 10 years ago. And even to this day, we're like, hey, super side note, dude. Yeah. And no, it's a kickback.
Super side note, like it's like under the table.
I still say it just.
Super side note.
Yeah, super side note.
Well, now I'm in on the inside joke.
That's you are.
Yeah.
But that was fun. There's so many of those moments, and like going to Russia and going to Australia and all through Europe. And
so, what sparked the transition from drumming to fashion?
Well, it was a random idea, and I like my life is just at the time it was a circus, Yeah. And so I was just like, I was just doing my thing, and then I couldn't really find clothes. But if you want to be real, I couldn't afford the clothes I wanted.
Right.
So I just started making my own clothes, and I was like so nervous to even walk outside. I've never done it before. We have a sewing machine, and I was like, okay, let me go get some fabric. I really fucked it up, but it was cool. And so I walked outside really nervous, and then all of a sudden people were like, yo, where'd you get that? And I was like, well, I made it. My friend's like, yo, dude, can you make me some stuff? And I was like, well, sure, let's make that work. And so within a couple of months of creating stuff, I was like putting it online, and I wasn't intending to make a brand or anything like that. And that wasn't the intention at all. It just kind of like developed this thing. And then I was like, well, shoot, I guess I need to come up with a name. And when I was a kid, I was all into ghosts. Fully into ghosts. And then at the time, my life was a circus. So I was just like, oh, shoot, Ghost Circus. And I liked how it looked together like this, Ghost Circus. I liked how it looked together. So I coined it that way and called it Ghost Circus. And then, man, it was crazy. Within 3 months, I was designing for other companies and head of manufacturing. I had no idea what I was doing, but I said I did just to get the opportunity. So it was kind of paid for the experience, and was very blessed for those opportunities. But yeah,
I think the first thing you designed for me when I was doing starting to do television and stuff, you designed a pair of pants for me, and it had like a place for a mic pack, it had a place for like a deck of playing cards, it had like all these specific spots, and it was so like customized. That was the first thing you did, and then since then you've done like 10 jackets for me and some of the coolest pieces in the world that are one of a kind. And I think the coolest thing, man, is that how you've designed for some of the rock stars that we grew up knowing and loving, and some of these guys that wear your stuff now. It's like Josh Dunn, 21 Pilots, Black Veil Brides, CC wears your stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Sum 41, Frank Zumo, you guys are good buddies.
And like since the beginning. He was actually, to be straightforward, he was one of the only ones that was like, dude, I see your vision. This is dope. Let's support each other. Let's go. Let's
Frank Zumo from Sum 41.
Yeah, and we're brothers. We've been brothers ever since. He was pretty much the only one. There's a lot of friends around that were like, wow, because I was crushing in the music scene. I was a producer and a drummer, and just that was my full focus. And all of a sudden, it's this like left field stuff. And my friends in the fashion world's like, fashion's gonna eat you up, dude. Don't do it. Blah blah blah. And
everybody was telling you no. Right? That's what you told me in the past.
Everybody said no. And I was like, well, let me just do it for fun, and I did it on the side, and then it kind of developed.
And you were really good at it. Everybody loved it, and that people would ask. And I remember a jacket you made for me. One of the jackets you made for me, you said Thrasher was wearing, K-Thrash was wearing from Escape the Fate. He tried on the jacket. He wanted one, and right. A lot of it is like that. It's like seeing it and then
trying it on, and then maybe little tweaks here and there. But I would always make stuff for myself, and then my friends were like, "Dude, I want this." I'm like, "Oh man, now I got to make something for myself again." Yeah,
I think the best thing about you and I, the thing that we've always connected with, because we've known each other for over 10 years, I think the biggest thing is networking and supporting other artists and other creatives, and then everybody. That's like contagious. Everybody jumps into that and everybody starts supporting each other, and there's a lot of humility in it too. I mean, you've always been really humble, like to where like last night we went to the Magic Castle in Hollywood, and we're just hanging out and shooting the shit, and you're just so humble and relaxed, and you've always been that way. And I think that's the other thing that's really, really cool about you. Your optimism has always been just mind-blowing to me. What
what sparked that is when I was a kid, because it was so gnarly between my mom and my dad. And my mom, it was like complete left side of the tracks, bro.
Yeah.
Like most wanted list in Washington, in and out of prisons, body trafficking, major manufacturing major drugs, and unfortunately giving her kids to people for drugs. If that, I don't want to dive into that, but it was a gnarly thing. So I could either go that way, or I could go my dad's way, which is more positive and light, and like you can make your dreams happen. And I had to choose one. So I think it was
you had to choose one.
I had to choose one, right? I could go this way or go that way. And I think that.
Do you remember that time whenever you were like, I could choose which direction to go? My mom is in this dark place.
It wasn't a specific time. It was many times, and it was a coping mechanism for a long time. And because it's like it's fight or flight. Like I got to figure it out. I got to go. And so I just chose the positive route. And even with that mindset, is everything still kind of came together because of it. Every little nuance that my life has presented, from acting to sales to music to fashion to merchandising company to help other brands, and that's what we're really focused on now. But without my mindset and doing all that stuff, I've never been that way. I would have been like dead or in prison.
Did you find that remaining optimistic each time as you had the decision multiple times to go back to being, to be like, whenever you started to think negatively and think I'm going to, well, my mom has been like this and messed up, and so that's just where I'm going to end up going. But then whenever your mind would go back to being more of an optimist, did you find that always helped more, so it helped keep you in that headspace? Because I'll say right now, out of everybody I've ever met, and you and I are so big at networking, and we know so many great, amazing artists and people, and everybody I know, you are the most optimistic, and I know that your wife, Tara, would say the exact same thing. Tara, Tara's got a whole nother level of her story, and your wife was Miss USA and went through all sorts of crazy stuff. But I know I've heard her say so many times that Eli's the most optimistic human being on the planet. Yeah. So going back to what I'm asking,
it's kind of disgusting.
Going back to what I'm asking is, in those moments, did you find? Because I'm thinking about anybody watching this, like we have these moments, right, where we can decide in those dark spaces if we're going to stay in it or just let it be a passing thing and then try and swing our way back to being optimistic and positive.
Yeah.
What really helps you remain in the positive headspace to where now people like me and your wife, Tara, and so many others can say, Eli's the most positive guy, and he's like, we want to be around him, and
It's interesting because it really depends on the situation at hand, I think. Some things are smaller than others. I got into such dark spaces when I was a kid that I've developed a habit of just always staying positive, or like something will happen. I'm like, well, then that's because something else is happening. Like dark things happen so you can understand the journey and then see the blessing on the other side. But as long as you understand it and you adopt it and you can move forward with it, that's where it all comes into play for my side.
Did your dad help you with that headspace? How did you figure that out on your own? A lot of people struggle with trying to come to any kind of optimism or positivity when they're going through such, especially whenever there's depression is circumstantial, you know what I mean?
I honestly think, of course my dad at points when I was a kid had definitely helped me out with it, but it's not like I leaned on him and asked him about it when I went through certain circumstances. I did ask him, like, hey, this is coming on, I got to figure this out, and like we would just, he was a great place for throwing spaghetti on a wall and just going, hey, that that could work, that could work. He's always supportive. What you're doing is amazing. You're on the right track. Oh, it looks like you're doing great. And it's a support system versus like I could have chose whatever direction I wanted to go and he'd still support. So that's important. But I think being positive no matter what happens. Like, for example, I was drumming for this band called Static X, Wayne Static. And I've never explained this, especially publicly. Okay, but this is kind of what turned me into focusing on solo stuff, focusing on Ghost Circus and focusing on that is I got an opportunity to play for him on a tour. Well, the drummer that at that point in time was kind of expensive. It was one of his best friends, but it was kind of expensive. So the management team hit me up and asked me if I wanted to join the band for this tour. And they had a budget. And I was like, okay, cool, which is less than half of what the budget was. But I wasn't at that point in my career where I can ask for more. But I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up taking the gig. It was in 3 months. I stopped all my side work because I was juggling 7 jobs at the same time. If you don't know, as an artist, you juggle a million jobs to make it work, but it looks like you're a rock star, just so you know. So I was juggling everything. I was like, okay, I'm going to reinvest. I took all my pennies and everything and put it into this, got new drums, got new drum heads, got new pedals, got new inners, got new everything, and focused and literally learned 3 albums, exactly how I was told to learn them. We did the rehearsal, and it did not go well. The singer didn't like how I was playing it, and I was like, but this is exactly how the guy played it. Like, these are the videos I was told. And he goes, dude, I hated how he played. That's not how I want it played. So within like seconds, I'm like, oh my God, I got to relearn all this stuff. But I'm like, yeah, no problem. Cool. I'll just dumb it down and all good. No worries. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, fuck. Well, we did a show the next day, and even on that show, I had no in-ears. I couldn't hear shit. So I'm so new to the space, but they're in that realm, but they're like, let's just go. We got to go. I'm like, okay. And so I did. I played it. And then afterwards, he's like, dude, good. Fuck, man. That was well done. I'll see you tomorrow. We're on tour. Okay, great. I got a call that next day from management saying, hey, so we're going to go ahead and go with the old drummer. And I'm like, wait a minute. I just did all this stuff, all this crap.
You had this expectation and everything now.
And the only thing I could come up with is the fact that he was a higher price. They used me to negotiate with him to bring him down and call it a day. That's the only thing I could come up with. And it really like just bothered me. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a part of someone else's dream, especially if this is how it's going to be. And the music industry is like that. But you build relationships where you find friends that aren't like that, which is like the Julian K guys are so phenomenal. And they're so like giving and they're so amazing and so supportive. But there are some other nuances that you would never know. And it's crazy and it's out of left field. And you're just like, okay, so that's what really put me on the edge to focusing on Eli James' experience, focusing on Ghost Circus and really making that come to life.
So Ghost Circus is like majorly blown up. I mean, what was like the turning point whenever you knew you were onto something big?
I mean, well, within the first 3 months, I'm from, Ellen DeGeneres to the Marilyn Manson camp. I'm doing custom gear for them. And they're so different. They're not the fucking same, let me tell you. So it was weird. And at that point, I was like, I need to talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about. So there's only one designer. I went over to her place. I was like, look, I need you to be... I need you to rip me a new asshole if I'm doing it wrong. Don't be my friend, please, for the love of God. And she's like, well, this is actually awesome, and what you're doing is great. I would do a tack stitch here and do a cover stitch here, and other than that, this is awesome. This is amazing. I was like, oh, okay, so I'm on the right track. And at least I got some solidity. Now she works at FITM. She's one of the teachers. So she knows her stuff. And so from there, I'm like, okay, I'm getting myself in these positions to do that. And then I got the opportunity with Blackcraft Colt. They're like, hounded me for like 3 months to design for them. So because they were a t-shirt company, but they wanted to elevate and get into custom cut and sew in America or domestically. And so I said, okay. And finally we came to a decision and I got the opportunity to do stuff for them. And then from that, I started talking to other brands.
And that was early on in your career, you told me before.
Yeah, that was within 3 months, 4 months. And then, so the opportunity started coming. I said, okay, yes, even though I had no idea. I had to learn everything and on the back end and prove myself and make it work.
Yeah, and a lot of it has been, like you would say, a lot of it's like networking, knowing people right out the gate, and from your, connections in the music industry, obviously, and all that, right?
Yeah. I mean, so acting taught me how, like, what you wear makes you feel a certain way. The sales aspect, because I got into sales, one-on-one sales, group setting sales, and that really got me out of my shell, but taught me how to sell things, one-on-one or in a group set. And then jumping back into music was like my heartstrings, but connections. Then when I got into fashion, it all kind of came around. It's full circle. Yeah. So I learned that what you wear makes you feel a certain way. So let me like empower other people to feel comfortable in their own skin with Ghost Circus. So I was like, okay, cool. And then how do I sell this? And then let's use some connections that I know support me because I support the shit out of everybody else.
You do, yeah.
And it's just kind of like, a stew that became phenomenal after years. And it developed into Ghost Circus merch where we do this with a ton of brands and bands and, fulfillment and production and customer service. And we actually do everything successful for Ghost Circus apparel. We're adopting and giving to other brands, even like Feather and Bone.
That's true. Yeah. So you've designed stuff. I mean, for it's been all over TV. You've designed 10 pieces for me for any of the TV stuff I've done. You've designed. Right now. You were saying Sum 41 is going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then Frank Zumo wears your stuff, so your Ghost Circus is going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I made it.
You made it as a musician and at the same time, musician and fashion designer.
Maybe not as a musician, but Ghost Circus or a part of me is going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and like that call, oh my gosh, it was a text, and I was like, wait, what? Are you serious? He's like, dude, I got you. Again, Frank Zumo, man, I'm telling you, without him. Josh Dunn from 21 Pilots, Adrian Young from No Doubt, Jacoby from Papa Roach. Like
you were good friends with Skrillex too for a long time. I saw he drew a whole drawing for you on the drum head over there. We'll get a little shot of that. But
I toured with him. I was supposed to be
Sonny, right?
Sonny Moore.
Skrillex,
at the time, he was watching Little Red Radio perform, and he was getting out of From First to Last. Wow. And so he was in a different mind space at that time, and we all shared an art space downtown.
Right.
And so we're like, hey, come to our shows, and it was Little Red Radio was it was a mix. It was like DJ world, rock world, hip hop world, all in one. it was he could tell you it was a little interesting dynamic, but it was working, and so I had Sonny come to it was called Blow Up LA, and it was like 700 kids there. Dan Cena was there as a DJ and us, and he was sitting right next to me when I was playing, and he was just so down, man. He was like at a point in his life, he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do anymore. I just left the band. I'm stuck. After that night, he goes, Eli, I got it. I was like, what's up, bro? He goes, I'm going to be the biggest DJ in the world. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be the biggest drummer in the world. Let's go. And it was like one of those moments.
Bro, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then he, when it came time where he did the Black Eyed Peas remix, did the Lady Gaga remix. Right. One time, Lady Gaga, he was supposed to get it to their management team, I think by 4:00 in the afternoon. It was 3:58, and he goes, he's like, we have to go to FedEx, because we're literally, he went to FedEx to I think fax and stuff over back then. And so we were running, and we got outside the doors to FedEx, and he dropped to his knees. I was like, whoa, we're right here, let's send it. It's like 4:01 p.m. And he's like, dude, I'm too late. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're right here. And he goes, no, they don't know me. They don't care. Like, this was supposed to be like anybody that bought that album will get my remix, and my name would kind of go out there. But
it was like 4:01?
4:01, and we stopped. They said, done. We're not accepting it. And I'm like, I remember that moment. I'm like, oh my God. So we stayed in touch for a long time, but then obviously, I think deadmau5 put his number on his T-shirt and said, text Skrillex at like a Grammy show or something like that, and then so I lost his number, and I'm like, oh man, so we haven't connected, but if we ever see each other, like, oh my God, dude, it's been like 15 years.
Dude, wow, that's awesome. So, bro, I want to kind of, bring it to, you're married, like I said earlier, you're married to Miss USA, Tara Connor. You guys have a beautiful daughter. How has fatherhood changed you? Because I want you to talk about for just a second. I knew your journey. You guys were trying to have a baby for years, and I always believed that you would. Can you talk a little bit about that and how fatherhood has changed you? Because you are such a good dad. So I want to kind of talk about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, when we got married, it was the day of. We're just like, let's have a little kid. First off, we were both so independently for ourselves because of our careers that we would never want to bring a kiddo. But when we got married, it was like solidifying. It was like, it was crazy. We're like, let's get a kid. And so we tried before all of our friends. Right. Within a month, one of our best friends got pregnant. Another month, another best friend got pregnant. Everybody started getting pregnant, and we just tried. Yeah. And it was really...
We were having kids?
Yeah, you guys were having kids. It was one of those things where it's like, no one really understands it because, for her, she thinks she's broken. For me, I think I'm broken, and we don't know. And then you going through the IVF route, they don't let you just go through the IVF route. You got to try for 1.5 years or 2 years, and then they do IUI and try that for 4 to 6 times or whatever. In our case, it was 4 times. And then if that doesn't work, then go into IVF. And we're 4 years deep, $85,000 deep, and we're just like, this is just a hope shot. And we had one good follicle, one good embryo, that we're like, okay, this is the one we're going to transfer. And every day we did shots. And we still have maybe 200 shots or whatever. We still have it in storage.
Have you seen the photo? There was a photo of a girl, a girl's daughter, that they laid down the baby and then they put all the needles in a heart around her.
We did that.
You did that?
Yeah, we did that.
Oh man, we got to show that photo. That's so
okay.
rad.
Yeah, I can send it over to you.
Yeah, we'll put it on here.
We did that. I mean, it was interesting, but the what people also don't talk about. We're very open, and so we talk about all of our infertility online and experience.
You guys talked about the whole journey throughout the whole thing.
And we're finding out later, like friends are hitting me up, like, dude, I would never have had a kid. I would never have gone through IVF if you didn't. So thank you. I'm a father. I'm a mother. Thank you. I'm like, why didn't you tell us then?
I've had friends,
so open.
I have a buddy who's who films the TV show Masters of Illusion with me every season, and we talk about him and his wife have been trying to have kids for a little while. His name's Murray Sawchuk. He's a headliner in Vegas, magician. And I was telling him about you and your experience because he was really, saying he was really upset about they've really been having trouble.
Yeah.
And so it's wild how far the reach of that can go, where you can, reach so many people from your guys' story and your situation.
We're just so transparent. It's stupid. It's like, why would you post that? It's like, because people can relate and we can help, somebody. And so, but that taught me patience to a point. Then it's funny, and nobody really talks about it either. There's 2 things. Is for us, because we went through IVF when we had our child, it wasn't like for me at least, and I can't talk on Tara's behalf, but it wasn't an immediate, oh my gosh, I'm in love with this thing. It was more like, what did we do? Like, and then within the first week, we're like, oh no, did we do something bad? Like, can we even do this as people? And it took a while. Like, she's a little over 2, and I'm still falling in love with her, and it's just going to get deeper and deeper. But I didn't.
Because you're going to get to know your own daughter better and better as she grows and becomes a human being.
Yeah, I didn't really fall in love until after like a year and a half. Then I started to.
That's pretty normal as a dad. So they say that women fall in love with their baby whenever they get pregnant and become a mother when they get pregnant, and men become a father when they meet their kid and start to get to know their kid.
Yeah.
And so that's actually pretty normal, bro. My daughter is 4, and she's my best friend and the coolest kid, and she's so much fun, and she has this personality that I'm like, where did this come from? Like, they become their own person, and as you get to meet them and get to know them, I mean, you already met them, but as you get to know your kid over time, and you grow with them and you see the person that they're becoming, you fall in love with them more and more, because we have this instinctual thing that God put in us where we love our child instinctually.
Yeah.
You have this protective nature that's something that's almost... it's almost animalistic where you're like, I'm going to protect my kid at all costs. We have that naturally, but then you learn to love them and you grow with your kids, through getting to know them more and more as they grow.
I didn't know if
which is super cool.
I didn't know if it was because of our IVF journey or what, but I was like, I mean, it was tough, and a lot of people don't talk about this. I don't know why. You should talk about it. Hello.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's one of those things. But it brought me so much joy, and we're trying for another one, and I don't know if we have to go through the IVF route or not, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So I mean, it's like you encourage so many people that are going through it. I mean, you would say for everybody, I mean, it's worth the right. I mean, isn't it worth it? It's like worth it in every way. I mean, you go through it and then you end up having this beautiful kid.
And at the same time, when you're 60, 70, 80, and you're watching them go through life, and they have their own kids, it just gives you, more to look forward to and stuff like that. So that's why I'm like, man, maybe we should have 2, just in case they have to wipe our diapers when we're old. Yeah. At least, There
is this thing about them playing with each other too. Yeah. My son and my daughter are only like not even 10 months apart. They're called Irish twins.
Oh, wow.
Because whenever they're that close apart, everybody just thinks they're twins. So they're called Irish twins.
Oh, nice.
But they play with each other and stuff, which is pretty great.
My dad always said, or my dad tells us, he's like, 1 is a nightmare, 2 is even worse, but the 3, that's where you get good, because the 3rd one can always be the ref of the other 2, and then you kind of step away. Yeah, dude,
mad shout out to your dad, man. He just liked a picture I just posted of you and I at the Magic Castle, and your dad is just such a sweet guy. I really think that you and your brother Joseph, you guys are your optimism and everything, because you guys are both, you and your brother Joseph are both so optimistic and
we're traumatized or something. Is that what we're traumatized? Trauma bonded. Sorry.
Yeah. You guys bonded that. Yeah. And I think your dad seems so optimistic too, despite all the stuff you guys were going through. He was watching his boys that he loves so much. How many brothers you have?
Beating each other.
I only really know you and Joseph. I've always known you guys.
There's 3 real brothers. Then there's
Patrick.
Then there's 2 half brothers, 2 step brothers.
Right.
One of the half brothers is my mom's son. The other one's my dad's son, Eric. Who's we're all brothers. There's like 7 of us or something like that. Yeah. No daughters. Although some of my brothers act like girls, but
that's you and Joseph.
What are you talking about,
bro? What do you ever think about, like, legacy? Like, what kind of legacy, what kind of impact do you want to have on, like, your daughter, like, and leave behind for the world, and for your daughter who's, the light of your eyes? What do you?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I do think about it. Legacy is an interesting word.
Isn't it?
I know. Yeah, and I know it's like in the entrepreneur world, or like legacy this, that. I'm like, dude, everybody in 100 years, no one's going to remember any of us.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you're, whatever, like possibly a president or something,
Yeah.
And or you're like, Buffett, and the next 10 generations are taken care of, and you're like, oh, it's because of your great grandfather.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like, come on, like I don't know. I think if I can teach her the ropes of what I've been through, and then she's a good person, and she helps everybody, and she's very giving and kind and caring, which she totally is. That's all I could ask for. If she loves life and she has the freedom to love, then I think that's my goal.
What's like the best piece of advice you've ever been given, and what if you could give your 20-year-old self a piece of advice now with all the life experience you have?
Just keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Keep on keeping on. Believe in yourself. You put believe in yourself on so much of your stuff, and
it's a mindset. We were talking about this last night, and there's a lot to dive into that, but it's literally mindset. If you believe you are lucky, you'll be lucky. End of story. If you believe you get blessed, you will be blessed. End of story. Doesn't matter how big the blessing is. It's always about if you believe, no matter what you believe, if you believe it, it'll happen. So if you're believing that, oh man, I'm shit out of my luck always, my fucking tires are popping all the time, I'm getting all these tickets, it'll happen. So if you want that and you want that journey, go for it. But if you get yourself out on the other side, and sometimes it's hard to get your ass out of bed and fucking make it work. It's hard. But if you start doing that and you believe in yourself enough, it will happen the way you believe it. End of story. In my humble opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I can be an absolute testament to what you're saying, and so much. I don't think you even realize, because I've told you this several times in the past over our friendship and knowing each other, that the impact you've had on me. I have a Ghost Circus tattoo.
Yeah,
I legit
have. Crazy.
Yeah, we have matching ink. You have it here, and then I have.
I got it in one of the worst spots in the world, but I did it because when I was drumming, I was like this. And my whole idea is like, people are going to take pictures of me. And
that's true. Yeah, it should have been on my forehead.
But it was Eli James' experience.
I have the original. Yeah. It looks like an E.
It's an E inside in the triangle for like communication, reality, understanding.
Well, I did that. Every tattoo I have has a meaning, and I did that because the meaning that you changed my outlook on style and fashion, on viewing the world, on believing in yourself. Yeah. A big part was believing in yourself, kind of knowing who you are as an artist, knowing who you are as a creative. Yeah. And,
that's a big thing too.
The constant belief in yourself is something that you really helped with me and inspired me in. And, and you talk about, the bond you have with your brother from the childhood trauma.
Both brothers. And by the way, Pat, my younger brother, Pat, was DJ Magi. He taught Sonny how to DJ.
Oh, no way.
He taught Skrillex. Yeah, and Skrillex was talking about, I think it's AP Magazine 2008. He'll go through and go, yeah, my boy DJ Magi, whatever. It's a long-ass time ago. But either way, he taught him how. So, I don't want to dive into that, but there's some funny
That's really rad. I didn't know that, dude. That's so crazy. We're going to have to do a follow-up.
I'll give you a photo so you can use it.
Yeah,
my brother great. Pat, DJ Magi, back in the day, he don't DJ anymore. He taught Sonny how to DJ.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think your story helps so many people, and your way of living your life helps so many people you aren't aware of. And I know you pretty well. I don't think you overthink it. I think you just live and love people and love helping other people.
Yeah. And it's hard if you start overthinking. You're just going to step on your own feet.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah,
you just go. Don't worry about it. Just go. If you loved something, if you love to do something in that moment, and just run. Just go. If you love something else in another moment, fine. Go run. You're going to build your journey. You're going to build your story.
Yeah, 1,000%. Bro, this has been great. Thank you so much for hanging out, man. Thank you so much for being a part of Feather and Bone.
Yeah, this is awesome.
And what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we love you, man. I love your family. I love Tara. I love Zizi. I love you guys very much. And thanks so much for hanging out, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, this has been fun. Thank you so much, too.